Netanyahu held a press conference in Jerusalem. Here are the key points. Netanyahu accused Iran of being a death cult, claiming it is attempting to blackmail the world by closing the Strait of Hormuz, a critical energy shipping route, and stressed that Israel is cooperating with the United States to reopen the strait. Addressing rumors that Israel used its influence to force the Trump administration into war with Iran, Netanyahu publicly refuted them at the conference, saying in his original words, "Do you really think anyone can tell Trump what to do?" This rhetorical question aimed to emphasize Trump's independent decision-making and clear Israel of accusations of dragging the US into war. Israel also plans to open a land pipeline to bypass the Iran-controlled Strait of Hormuz. The pipeline would extend westward from the Persian Gulf through Saudi Arabia and Jordan directly to Israel's Mediterranean ports. This is Israel's long-term strategy to permanently alter global energy flows and marginalize Iran's geopolitical advantage. Netanyahu stated that Israel independently took action against the South Pars gas facility. He mentioned that on the 19th of March, Israel struck Iran's navy in the Caspian Sea. Iran's naval warships are now lying at the bottom of the sea, since the Caspian Sea is shared by 5 surrounding countries. Israel's strike there against Iran also sent a signal to Russia that the traditional security boundaries in the region have been completely broken by this conflict. At the press conference, Netanyahu openly praised the exiled Iranian crown prince. He said Pahlavi has always been a force for justice and supported his establishment of a moderate democratic transitional government. The exiled prince Reza Pahlavi outlined his vision for Iran after the current regime, ending support for the Basij militia and proxies, halting uranium enrichment, fully cooperating with the IEA, promoting regional peace, expanding the Abraham Accords, urging Arab states to support an organized transition for stability and prosperity. Pahlavi promised that the future transitional government would immediately stop all uranium enrichment with military potential and open all inspection access to the IAEA. He stressed that Iran's energy future should shift to diversification rather than nuclear deterrence as a geopolitical threat. He gave clear assurances to neighboring countries such as Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, and Qatar that future Iran would completely sever funding and weapons chains to proxies like Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas, calling these proxies parasites sucking the blood and sweat of the Iranian people. He proposed forming a transitional committee composed of technocrats, domestic opposition, and secular officers, with himself serving as a symbolic unifying bridge until nationwide elections are held. He introduced the concept of a regional prosperity zone, suggesting that future Iran use its oil and gas resources to build, together with Arab neighbors and Israel, a Middle East-wide energy and trade network, turning funds spent on confrontation into civilian construction. In answering reporters' questions, Netanyahu clearly stated that the Islamic Republic regime is the lifeline of its proxy network. He said the collapse of the Islamic regime would mean the collapse of Hezbollah, emphasizing Iran's decisive role as the financial and military backbone of Lebanese Hezbollah. He noted that with the successive elimination of Iran's core commanders, the IRGC's organizational structure is disintegrating. He predicted that once it loses regime support, the IRGC's numbers would become very small, implying its members would face mass desertion, uprising, or annihilation. Netanyahu reiterated his octopus theory at the conference. Iran is the head of the octopus, while Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis are its tentacles. He announced that through strikes over the past 20 days, Israel has directly smashed the octopus's head. He revealed that Hezbollah is currently in extreme panic because its command flow and funding from Tehran have been completely cut off. Netanyahu's logic is very clear. Hezbollah is not an independent political military entity, but an extension of Iran's strategic depth. By bringing the war directly to Tehran, Israel seeks to permanently resolve the northern border threat. If the Iranian regime falls, Hezbollah would immediately lose strategic resources, downgrade from a regional power to a local militia, and even face internal reckoning in Lebanon. Netanyahu specifically addressed ordinary IRGC soldiers, saying those who oppress the Iranian people on the streets are also in our crosshairs. He promised leniency to those who lay down their arms, while those who persist would perish together with the regime. Netanyahu cited historian Will Durant's view in the Lessons of History, that history proves, unfortunately and regrettably, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. He used this to argue that if democratic nations do not possess greater strength, cruelty, and determination than barbarians, evil will take their place. He emphasized that we must be stronger than the barbarians, or they will break down the gates and destroy our society. This statement marks a major shift for Israel, framing the conflict as a survival contest between civilization and barbarism, signaling more radical military actions.